to do is to also reflect on the time in the early 90s, in 1993, with the first event for Arkipelago. Susan, it was on Human Rights Day on December 10th, 1993, where we had a lot of performers and artists. And she felt that this organization or this event was more than a one-shot deal, along with several artists, the organization Arkipelago. Next, I would like to present Edwin and Erna, who were also organizers in Arkipelago.
Thanks, Jody. Thanks, Ayan.
Thank you, Jody. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to share my screen as we talk about Arkipelago.
Without Susan, there would be no Arkipelago.
From 1993 to 2007, Arkipelago grew out of what was initially a one-shot project that evolved into a New York City-based, volunteer-run cultural organization.
Through the arts, Arkipelago encouraged critical dialogue and promoted community involvement in issues that concern the Filipino diaspora.
I met Susan in the spring of 1994, and by then, Arkipelago had already had that initial event that would inspire the organization.
She put us right to work right away, trusting us to write our very first press releases and call and event venues, everything.
That first event was organized to commemorate Human Rights Day in December of 1993.
It was a celebration of Filipino culture and heritage that consisted of 15 performing groups and individual artists, many of whom are here tonight.
That event drew over 200 immigrant and American-born Filipinos.
During the time that Susan and George, who graciously welcomed us creative, angsty, yet idealistic youths into their apartment on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, Arkipelago was busy.
We organized several events that highlighted established and up-and-coming Filipino and Filipino-American artists in all media, the visual, literary, film, video, and music.
Looking back, we realized now the running theme of every event was a community dialogue that followed performance, whether through a formal panel discussion or an informal post-event dinner at the local Turo Turo restaurant.
In 1994, the very first year of Sa Pinilakang Tabing, or On the Silver Screen, featuring Filipino and Filipino-American films and videos. Sorry, I'm gonna take the next slide. So that night, I remember saying to Susan, as we walked towards the venue, did we really just organize a movie screening? Are we actually hosting this? And she just smiled, that knowing Susan's smile.
She had a knack for keeping the group together, instilling a belief in our potential and abilities and doing things we had never done before. Sa Pinilakang Tabing became SBT, an almost annual event up till 2003.
Along with a variety of other events, we organized and co-sponsored with like-minded community groups.
That was so important to the work we did.
And the community building legacy of Arkipelago that started with Susan, continuing through 2007, gave birth to our webzine, Maarte. So I'm going to take this again, Edwin. So I recently found a journal entry I wrote in December 1994, around the time we were getting really busy with our programming. And it reads, I think that the events unfolded today is the culmination of hopes and desires I've had for years, hopes and wants that I've only come to realize in this last year. I'm so happy knowing people whose beliefs I've admired. Being a part of a community of thinkers and activists is thrilling. Knowing artists who are aware of their importance to spread awareness of issues that affect the Filipino community, the Filipino people who search for a home and identity. You can take it, Edwin.
It is so amazing. I love it.
It was amazing. It inspires us to keep continuing to search for our identity and defining our art, our own stories. And we remember loving that we could discuss issues that affect all of us and express our thoughts in creative ways.
From its very first program in 1993, reflecting the spirit Arkipelago still holds today, it reads fairly well.
We are peoples of thousands of islands, people of diverse cultural backgrounds and influences who hope to create a space and conversation with one another.
Arkipelago is an invitation to various community members,
Poets,
dancers,
musicians,
visual and
theater artists, to imagine and realize a space where many may gather to celebrate the wealth of our diversity and explore the shared elements of our desires, our fears, and struggles while learning to comprehend and acknowledge our distinct differences.
Philippine or American born, we share in a colonial legacy that is racist, sexist, and elitist. This gathering moves to transform our experience, encouraging us to locate our struggles along the lines of gender, race, and class.
Thank you, Ate Susan, for laying the groundwork for us in New York City to build this community of artists, activists, and thinkers.